There comes a moment in the life of every individual when the silence of the soul is broken not by the clamor of the world, but by a whisper from the heavens. It does not shout, it does not demand, it simply speaks quietly, firmly, and unmistakably, "Get ready, I'm about to blow your mind." You may not hear it with your ears, but you will feel it in your bones. The wind shifts, the atmosphere changes, and suddenly your spirit begins to stir with the anticipation that something is coming. Something greater, something divine, something only God can orchestrate. The trouble with most people is not that they lack dreams, but that they stop preparing for them the moment life grows quiet. They become discouraged by delay, confused by detours, and paralyzed by the passage of time. But what they do not understand is this: the quiet seasons are not signs of abandonment, they are signs of divine setup. When God is about to shift your life, He doesn't send a warning shot, He sends a whisper. He doesn't need permission, He needs preparation, and He won't move until your spirit is ready to carry what He's about to deliver. That's why every season of waiting is sacred. Every trial you faced wasn't punishment, it was preparation. Every time you were overlooked wasn't rejection, it was redirection. Every closed door was a classroom. Every heartbreak was a test. You thought you were being held back, but you were being held in place because what God was building inside you was too big to be rushed. The character you developed in the dark is the foundation you'll need in the spotlight. The patience you practiced in obscurity is the strength you'll need when visibility finds you. This is the reason why your journey didn't look like anyone else's. You were never called to ordinary, so why expect a common path? If the call on your life is unique, then the process must also be unique. Some people were allowed to skip steps because their purpose wasn't as deep. But you were called for more. You were carved out of perseverance, fashioned in the fire of failure, sculpted by solitude, built to carry weight. And that weight, that vision, that calling, that destiny, it requires a mind that refuses to be moved by circumstances and a spirit that believes even when nothing seems to be happening. That's why God says, "Get ready," not because the blessing is delayed, but because the blessing is too great to be received by a version of you that is still doubting, hesitating, or underestimating. The mind must be transformed before the promise can be transferred. There must be an internal agreement with the external assignment. The soil of your faith must be deep enough to carry the root system of the blessing, or it will collapse under its own weight. When God says, "I'm about to blow your mind," it is not a metaphor. It is a divine reality. It is a declaration from eternity that the time of fulfillment is near. But hear this: when the mind is blown, it is not destroyed, it is expanded. You are not about to lose yourself, you are about to discover who you were all along. You are not stepping into something foreign, you are returning to your original design, the one heaven saw before time began. And for that to happen, you must be willing to release the small ideas you've held onto so tightly. You must let go of the limitations others placed on you, the timelines they set for you, and the ceilings you built for yourself. What is coming is not based on your credentials, it is based on your conviction. It is not earned by effort, it is unlocked by alignment. And alignment begins when your desires submit to divine timing. There's a reason the enemy fought you so hard. He saw glimpses of your future even when you couldn't. He wasn't threatened by where you were, he was terrified of where you're going. That depression you survived, that anxiety you battled, that season where nothing made sense, you walked through fire and didn't even smell like smoke. You endured seasons that others didn't survive, and you came out not bitter, but better, not broken, but built. And now the season is changing, now the tables are turning, now the silence is breaking. God is moving, not because you deserve it, but because he said he would, and when he makes a promise, time cannot cancel it, doubt cannot erase it, delay cannot destroy it. Get ready, because the shift is happening whether you believe it or not, but your preparation determines your participation. This is the moment where dreams are no longer distant, they are now within reach. You will begin to see opportunities where you once saw obstacles. You will encounter people who speak your language of destiny, who stir your spirit, who confirm what God already told you in secret. Doors will open that no man can shut. Paths will appear where there were only walls. And when it begins, it will happen so fast, your only response will be, "Only God could have done this." But you must be ready. Ready doesn't mean perfect. It means willing, willing to move when he says go, willing to believe when doubt is loud, willing to act before all the pieces make sense. Faith doesn't wait for clarity. Faith creates clarity. And the first step of faith is obedience. Obedience even when you don't see the whole staircase. Obedience even when it looks foolish to others. Obedience even when your own logic fights back. Because God doesn't need your logic, he needs your trust. And when you trust, truly trust, everything changes. Your language shifts from "what if it doesn't work" to "what if this is exactly what I've been waiting for." Your posture moves from hesitation to expectation. Your mindset upgrades from survival to overflow. And that's when the blessing lands, not when you beg for it, but when you become the person who can hold it. Understand this: when God blows your mind, he doesn't just give you what you asked for. He gives you what you didn't know you needed. He doesn't just meet your expectations, he exceeds them. You prayed for opportunity, he delivers overflow. You asked for healing, he gives you wholeness. You wanted breakthrough, he hands you legacy. But to receive that kind of abundance, you must stretch your capacity, and stretching hurts. It stretches your patience, your faith, your endurance. It forces you to let go of comfort. It demands you walk away from excuses, but it also frees you from fear. It awakens your potential. It silences your doubt. It shows you what was inside you all along. And the moment you choose preparation over procrastination, the moment you decide to walk like it's already yours, that's when heaven begins to respond. God doesn't give small assignments to those with great faith. He gives great assignments to those who are willing to be faithful in the small. If you're sweeping floors, sweep with excellence. If you're building in secret, build with purpose. If no one is watching, live like the world is still learning from you. Because God sees, and God multiplies what is done in obedience. What looks like obscurity is often the breeding ground of greatness. The world may not be ready, but heaven is. Everything you need has already been orchestrated. The connections, the resources, the favor, the timing, all of it has been scheduled in the divine calendar. All that's left is for your mind to agree with what your spirit already knows, that this is the season, and you are the one. You are the answer someone else has been praying for. You are the solution wrapped in human form. You are the fulfillment of a prophecy once spoken in silence. God said, "Get ready." He didn't say panic. He didn't say prove yourself. He said prepare, and preparation is an act of faith. It says, "I believe it's already mine." It speaks before it sees. It walks before it receives. And when that kind of faith meets divine timing, miracles are no longer rare, they're required. So brace yourself, not for pain but for promotion, not for loss but for launch. You've been asking God for the next level, but what if the next level has been waiting on you to become the person who can handle it? What if the waiting season was never about the world getting ready for you, but about you getting ready for the world? Everything changes now, not because you forced it, but because you believed it, not because you manipulated the outcome, but because you aligned with the one who controls it. And when alignment happens, acceleration follows. What used to take years now takes months. What seemed impossible becomes inevitable. God is about to blow your mind. But first, he had to rebuild your mindset. He had to deconstruct your doubt. He had to strip away your fear. He had to restore your identity. And now you're ready to walk in rooms you once felt unworthy of, ready to speak words that change atmospheres, ready to lead where you once followed, ready to create where you once consumed, ready to live like your prayers were already answered. This is not hype. This is holy. This is not motivational. This is transformational, because the Spirit of God is not stirring you just to make you feel good. He's stirring you because the season has arrived. The time is now. The heavens are moving. The earth is responding, and all of creation is waiting for you to rise, to step, to believe. Every divine move begins with a moment of inner recognition, a flicker of understanding that you are no longer who you were. It's not always visible to others, but you feel it rising from within. You speak differently. You expect differently. You carry yourself not with arrogance, but with assurance. Because when you know God is the architect of your journey, you no longer question the terrain, you master the mindset. The scenery may shift, but the destination is secure. Your confidence is not built on circumstances, it's built on covenant. And that covenant says, "You shall have what I have prepared for you, if only you will not give up." What separates those who receive from those who remain in frustration is not how hard they try, it's how deeply they believe. Trying may push you forward, but believing pulls destiny toward you. It draws people, doors, provision, and timing to match your level of inner agreement. Life does not respond to what you wish for. It responds to who you become. And when who you become is a vessel ready to receive from a God who never fails, the supernatural becomes your new normal. Coincidence dies where divine alignment begins. You stop saying it's luck, and you start declaring it's God. And now you must ask yourself, can you handle what's coming? Can you stand in the fulfillment of what you've been praying for without shrinking in fear or self-doubt? Because the promise doesn't just come with glory, it comes with responsibility. The weight of blessing is heavier than the weight of burden, and many are unprepared because they never trained in private for what they expect to carry in public. But you are not like them. You have chosen the narrow road. You have said yes when it was inconvenient. You stayed faithful when it would have been easier to quit. That's why you will carry what others couldn't. That's why your life will become the proof that God does not forget. Do not mistake the quiet for absence. Do not confuse delay with denial. Heaven has its own calendar, and it's not dictated by your age, your bank account, or your background. God is not interested in whether others believe in your calling. He's waiting for you to believe it. You do not need the world's confirmation to move. You need obedience to divine instruction. That voice that whispers, step forward, speak boldly, create anyway. Pray again. That voice will never fail you. Listen, move, act. For when you do, heaven will match your action with acceleration. Get ready to see things unfold that don't make logical sense. Get ready to meet people you didn't even know you needed. Get ready to receive favor that no one can explain. But understand this, God doesn't bless chaos. He blesses order. He blesses strategy born of obedience. He blesses plans built on wisdom and executed with integrity. So you must not only be ready emotionally, you must be ready structurally. Create room for what you've prayed for. If you're asking for expansion, build like it's already coming. If you're expecting impact, train like you're already in demand. The mind blown by God is the mind that dared to believe beyond the facts. It is the mind that was laughed at, the mind that was doubted, the mind that sat alone on many nights but still dared to speak what others only whispered. And when God sees that kind of mind, courageous, stubborn in faith, unwavering in devotion. He says now I can show you what I've had in store all along. It's not that the blessings weren't prepared, it's that the believer needed to grow into them. And now the growing season is closing, the harvest is near. Think back for a moment, remember all the times you almost quit, the moments you thought, this isn't working, the nights you cried out silently because the weight was too heavy. But you didn't break. You may have bent, you may have paused, but something in you, something sacred, refused to let go. That something was not your willpower, it was your connection to the source. It was the evidence of purpose so deep that even when everything said give up, your spirit said not yet. That's why you're still here, and that's why you're ready. The mind-blowing season is not just about what you will receive, it's about who you will become. You won't just see new results. You will operate in a new rhythm. You will speak with clarity. You will lead with grace. You will make decisions without double guessing, because you'll know the same God who carried you through the valley is the one now setting you on the mountain. You will not shrink to make others comfortable. You will not play small to fit in old spaces. The promise requires your full size, your full voice, your full presence. And yes, there will be those who won't understand your rise. They knew you in struggle, not in strength. They saw your beginnings, not your becoming. Do not let their confusion shake your conviction. When God elevates, he also separates. Some people cannot come where you're going, not because they're bad, but because they were never meant to steward your next. Love them, bless them, release them. Their chapter in your life is complete. And your next page requires a new perspective. This is your time. You've survived too much to play small now. You've endured too long to question your worth now. God did not bring you this far for a partial promise. He's not in the business of halfway breakthroughs. He finishes what he starts. He perfects what he begins. And what he has begun in you is about to unfold in ways that not only fulfill your dreams, but restore your faith. Not only elevate your platform, but deepen your character. Not only answer your prayer, but transform your very life. And when it begins to unfold, don't apologize, don't hide, don't explain away the blessing. Own it, walk in it, honor it, give thanks, but do not shrink. Celebrate without guilt, because what you're about to receive didn't come easy. It cost you time, tears, humility, and growth. And now that it's here, you must steward it with wisdom, not shame. Boldly, authentically, with a heart that remembers the process and a vision that embraces the future. The world is watching, yes, but more importantly, heaven is watching, heaven is cheering, heaven is opening gates that have been sealed for years. Heaven is aligning things you didn't even pray for, because God doesn't just answer your requests. He responds to your calling, and your calling is not just to survive. It is to lead, to inspire, to break generational patterns, to heal what others ignored, to build what others feared, and to become what others only imagined. This is divine alignment in motion, the place where preparation meets providence, where obedience meets overflow, where pain births purpose, where the impossible becomes inevitable, and as it comes, don't try to manage it through old patterns. Don't retreat to comfort when increase comes knocking. Stretch, adapt, grow again, because what's coming isn't just a reward. It's an invitation to evolve into someone even greater. God said, I'm about to blow your mind. And when God speaks, it's not poetry, it's prophecy. It's not fantasy, it's fulfillment. You didn't come this far to be confused now. You came this far so you could look back and say, every step was worth it. Every delay had meaning. Every no was protection. Every failure was instruction. Every fall was a setup for this exact rise. And so now you rise, not with noise, but with power, not with arrogance, but with assurance, not to prove anything, but to fulfill everything. You rise because your time is here. You rise because the whisper became a word, and the word is becoming reality. You rise because God said, "Get ready," and you chose to believe him, you chose to prepare, you chose to obey, and now, mind blown, spirit awakened, life transformed, you step into the season that was always yours. When divine timing collides with a prepared soul, no force on earth can stop what must unfold. This is the era where your waiting transforms into witnessing. You're not just walking into opportunity, you're stepping into alignment. Everything that tried to break you only revealed what could not be broken, and now that unshakable core within you becomes the platform God uses to deliver the unexpected, the unprecedented, and the unbelievable. The dream you once feared was too big will now feel small in comparison to what God had hidden just beyond your last trial. This isn't just restoration, this is resurrection. Dead things are coming back to life. Ideas, relationships, purpose, energy, joy, clarity, finances. Not because you earned it, but because you were ready to steward it. Your level of preparation is about to meet the level of promise. This is where your years of obedience begin to bear fruit others will marvel at. But remember this, harvests are not just blessings, they are responsibilities. The weight of your next level will require you to walk in wisdom you've never needed before. It will demand that you speak with discipline and move with intention. No more careless conversations, no more wasted hours, no more proximity to people who dilute your purpose. You've stepped into the season where every decision must align with destiny, every connection must strengthen your calling. Every step must be ordered, not emotional. You've come too far to wander now, and don't be surprised when discomfort rises alongside destiny. Every elevation brings exposure. New heights reveal new insecurities. Every level up demands a level down in ego. You'll feel the stretching, you'll feel the pressure. That's the price of greatness. You weren't made for ordinary outcomes. You carry an assignment stamped in heaven's ink, and it requires the version of you that refuses to retreat just because things feel different. You were made to walk unfamiliar ground with unwavering trust. You were made to be the first in your family to break through. You were made to be misunderstood by the masses, but trusted by the one who matters most. The floodgates are opening because your posture has changed. You've moved from desperation to expectation. You've replaced worry with worship. You've traded excuses for execution, and heaven responds to that shift. God is not mocked. What you've sown in secret will manifest in public. The discipline no one saw, the prayers no one heard, the nights you gave your best with nothing left to give, they are not forgotten. They are seeds, and the season of blooming is here. And when it comes, you won't need to announce it. Fruit speaks for itself. You'll walk into rooms and shift atmospheres, not because of who you are, but because of who you've become in obedience. So don't fear the magnitude of what's coming. You were not created to collapse under the weight of success. You were born for this, molded in pain, sharpened in silence, fortified in isolation. You learned patience when everything said rush. You learned peace when everything said panic. You learned to walk when others ran, and now your pace has set you apart. The right people are watching, the right doors are unlocking, the right favor is flowing, but the real miracle isn't outside of you, it's within. You no longer question your voice, you no longer ask for permission. You no longer need applause to keep going. You've become your own confirmation. You must now protect what you prayed for, because when blessings come, so does temptation, the temptation to forget the process, the temptation to compromise for comfort, the temptation to go back to who you were because success feels overwhelming. But you didn't fight this long to self-sabotage now. You must protect your mind from old thought patterns. Protect your heart from people who drain instead of deposit. Protect your time like the sacred currency it is. The enemy cannot take what's yours, but he can distract you from walking in it. Stay focused. Stay grounded. Stay grateful, because what you build in this season will shape generations. Don't be shocked when acceleration hits every area of your life. Relationships mended in moments. Doors opened that were shut for years. Provision released that leaves no doubt of its source. God doesn't do small when he answers big prayers, and this next move will silence every doubt, your own included. You will look in the mirror and see someone you once dreamed of becoming. Not because you faked it, but because you stayed faithful. This is what faith looks like in full bloom. Bold, radiant, undeniable. The version of you who stopped explaining your value and started embodying it. You are not behind, you are not late, you are not overlooked, you are right on time, aligned with a calendar you cannot see, but were always a part of, and now the pieces fit, the pain makes sense, the losses were lessons. The waiting was preparation. You don't need everything to be perfect. You just need to be positioned, and you are, not because it's easy, but because you didn't quit. You stayed when others walked away. You believed when the evidence said doubt. You planted when the soil looked dry, and now heaven says, harvest, the tears you cried were not wasted. They watered the very ground you now stand on. Every tear built trust. Every setback deepened strength. Every heartbreak redirected your steps. It wasn't punishment. It was positioning. And now that your spirit is tuned to the frequency of faith, nothing can shake what God is setting in motion. This is not the season for hesitation. This is the season for execution. You don't need more signs. You don't need another opinion. You need to move. The breakthrough is activated by obedience. The miracle moves when your feet do. Faith without motion is fantasy, but faith with action, faith with resilience, shakes the heavens. Watch how things unfold now, not slowly, but swiftly, not partially, but fully. The speed of change will feel surreal. The timing will seem too perfect to be coincidental. That's because it is. You have stepped into the divine zone of suddenly, suddenly healed, suddenly known, suddenly funded, suddenly loved the way you always deserved. But the suddenlies only happen after the season of still believing, still trusting, still preparing, still moving forward with no evidence. Until now, you've graduated, and now the blessings that were stacking silently are about to pour openly. And when it happens, when it really begins, don't flinch, don't doubt it, don't ask, why me? Ask, why not now? You've done the work, you've refined your character, you've realigned your circle, you've reclaimed your peace. This isn't luck, this is legacy, this isn't hype, this is harvest, and it was all written with your name on it. From the beginning, God knew this would be your time. He delayed it so you wouldn't destroy it. He tested you so you'd treasure it. He matured you so you could manage it. And now that you've passed the test, he's handing you the scroll of fulfillment, the scroll of arrival, the scroll that says, welcome. You're ready, so lift your head, straighten your back, speak with fire again, walk like you're already inside the promise, because you are. Not everyone will understand it. That's fine. Not everyone can come. That's necessary. You are not for everyone. You are for the assignment. And when you walk in that truth unapologetically, you attract every resource, connection, and door needed to fulfill it. You don't chase favor anymore. Favor follows you because you've become the kind of person who can carry it. And that is why God said, get ready, now go, without fear, without apology, without delay, because what's next doesn't just change your life. It changes the lives connected to your obedience. This is the ripple effect of destiny, and it starts now. So now, take a breath and understand this. The waiting wasn't punishment, the silence wasn't abandonment, and the battles weren't pointless. They were all part of the divine blueprint. You didn't lose time. You were being equipped. You didn't fall behind. You were being positioned. You didn't miss out. You were being molded. And now that you're standing at the threshold of everything you once prayed for, you must decide to walk through with boldness, with clarity, and with unwavering conviction that this moment, this calling, this elevation was always yours. You were not chosen randomly. You were chosen intentionally. And what comes next will not just blow your mind. It will confirm everything your spirit already knew, that God was always working, always moving, and always waiting for you to believe like this. Get ready, because the unthinkable is about to become your undeniable.